If I told you there's one skill, just one, that can make you untouchable in the face of insults, betrayal, or chaos, would you want it? Most men think strength comes from muscles, money, or status. But the most powerful men in history mastered something else entirely, something invisible. The question is, have you mastered it yet? If not, this might be the most important lesson you hear all year. Rule 1. The inner battlefield settle in now. Let the world outside this room fade into the background. Take a slow, deep breath, pulling the quiet of the night into your lungs. And as you exhale, release the weight of the day. Let go of the deadlines, the conversations, the noise. Feel your body grow heavy, supported, and secure. You are entering a sacred space, now the quiet sanctuary of your own mind, the only place where true mastery is possible. Tonight, we begin a journey to reclaim the one thing that no one can ever take from you, unless you give it away: control over your own emotions. We are taught to believe that our peace is determined by the world around us. A promotion makes us happy. A critical comment makes us angry. A setback makes us despair. We spend our lives like warriors charging at shadows, fighting furiously against outside events, trying to bend the world to our will so that we might finally feel calm. We exhaust ourselves in a battle we can never win, because we are fighting on the wrong battlefield. The great Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded legions and ruled an empire, understood this profound truth. He wrote to himself, not as a ruler, but as a student of life: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The real battle is not out there. It is not with your boss, your partner, or the person who cut you off in traffic. The true battlefield is internal. It is the space between what happens and how your mind interprets it. Your frustration, your anger, your anxiety, these are not things that happen to you. They are things that happen and you don't. So tonight we take our first step as commanders of our inner world. The training is simple, but it is the foundation of everything. It is the practice of the strategic pause. Tomorrow, when you feel that familiar flash of emotion, that surge of irritation, that pang of anxiety, you will not react immediately. You will not charge. Instead, you will halt your advance. You will take one single conscious breath. And in that breath, you will perform a crucial act of intelligence. You will label the feeling. Without judgment, without anger at your anger, you will simply say to yourself, "This is anger." Or, that is the feeling of being disrespected. Or, "I recognize this. This is fear." By naming it, you are no longer consumed by it. You are observing it. You move from being the storm to being the calm, unshakable sky watching the storm pass. You are not the emotion. You are the awareness that holds the emotion. This small act is the first step in reclaiming your power. It is the moment you stop being a soldier blindly reacting to the chaos of the battlefield and start becoming the general, observing the field from the hill, ready to choose your next move with wisdom and strength. As you drift to sleep, hold this image. You are the calm commander. The battlefield is within, and you are learning its terrain. Rest now in the quiet confidence of a leader who knows where the real fight is and knows he is finally learning how to win. Rule 2. Master the gap. You rest now as the commander of your inner world, aware that the true battlefield lies within your own mind. You have learned to observe your feelings, to name them, and in doing so, to create a sliver of distance. Tonight, we are going to take that sliver of distance and expand it into a vast territory of freedom. We are going to master the gap. There was a man named Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the unimaginable horrors of the Nazi concentration camps. Surrounded by the worst of humanity, stripped of everything he owned and everyone he loved, he discovered a fundamental human power: He later wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This is the secret kingdom we seek to master. The stimulus is the outside event, the insult, the setback, the provocation. The response is what you do, but the space. The space is everything. For most people, that space is non-existent. A stimulus hits and a reaction fires instantly, like a knee-jerk reflex. They are prisoners of the moment, puppets whose strings are pulled by anyone or anything that can provoke them. But you are learning a different way. You are learning to live in that sacred space. And how do we make it larger? How do we turn a microscopic gap into a field of calm deliberation? We use the most ancient and powerful tool we possess, our breath. The breath is the key that unlocks the space. It is the anchor that holds you steady when the winds of emotion begin to howl. It is the action that allows your rational mind, your inner commander, to step forward and take control. Let's practice this right now as a drill for the soul. Imagine a scenario. Picture yourself receiving a text message that feels unfair or critical. See the words on the screen. Feel that immediate, hot sting of defensiveness or anger. The impulse is to type back a furious reply, to defend yourself, to attack back. Your thumbs are already hovering over the keyboard. This is the moment. The stimulus has arrived, but instead of reacting, you choose to master the gap. You do one simple, world-altering thing. You take a single, slow, deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and feel the air fill your lungs. Hold it for just a second. In that second, you have halted the chain reaction. You have created space. Now, breathe out slowly through your mouth. And as the air leaves your body, imagine it carrying the initial poison of the reaction with it. The heat dissipates. The immediate, blinding impulse fades. And in the calm that remains, you are free. You are no longer a reactor. You are a responder. You can now ask, what is the wise response here? What response aligns with the man I want to be? Does this even require a response at all? You have traded the cheap, fleeting satisfaction of an angry retort for the profound, unshakable power of self-control. This is your training. When insulted, when provoked, when frustrated tomorrow, your first move is not with your mouth or your hands. Your first move is with your breath. As you drift into sleep, let the rhythm of your own breathing be a gentle reminder of this power. Each inhale is you creating the space. Each exhale is you releasing the impulse. Rest now in the quiet, limitless freedom of the gap. Rule 3. Detach from ego. You are resting now in that sacred space, that powerful gap between the world's events and your own response. You have learned to create this space with your breath, but now we must examine what it is that external provocations are trying to grab hold of within that space. What is the target they are aiming for? When an insult is thrown, what part of you feels the sting? When you are criticized, what is it that rises up, wounded and defensive? The target, the hook, is your ego. Your ego is your sense of self, your story about who you are, your pride, your reputation. It's the part of you that craves to be seen as smart, strong, and respected. In itself, it isn't bad. But the Stoics knew with piercing clarity that an overinflated or fragile ego is the greatest vulnerability an aspiring warrior of the mind can possess. It is the hook that other people use, consciously or unconsciously, to pull your emotions. When someone insults you, they are casting a line, hoping to snag your pride. If it hooks, they can drag you wherever they please into anger, into defensiveness, into a state of emotional chaos. You lose your freedom the moment your ego takes the bait. The path to emotional invulnerability, then, is to learn how to let that hook slide right by. The practice is to detach, to depersonalize. It is to remind yourself of a profound truth in the heat of the moment. This is not about me. It's about their perception. An insult is almost never a true reflection of you. It is a direct reflection of the person who spoke it. It is a broadcast of their own insecurities, their own pain, their own distorted view of the world. They are projecting a movie from their own mind, and you just happen to be the screen. To become enraged by their movie is to give them power over your reality. Let's train this detachment now with a powerful visualization. As you lie here, perfectly still and safe, imagine yourself standing in a calm, quiet, open space. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. Feel the immense peace in this place. This is your inner citadel. Now, from the distance, you see an arrow being fired towards you. This arrow represents an insult, a criticism, a negative judgment. You can see it flying through the air, sharp and fast. The old you, the one led by ego, might have tensed up, prepared to be hit, ready to feel the sting, but not tonight. Tonight, you are protected by a new understanding. Around your body is an invisible field of wisdom. This field is your knowledge that the arrow is not truly aimed at you, but at the idea of you that exists in someone else's mind. As the arrow enters this field, something miraculous happens. It doesn't shatter against a hard shield. It doesn't bounce off. It simply dissolves. It loses its form, its speed, its sharpness. It turns into a harmless puff of smoke or a drift of fine dust, vanishing completely before it can ever reach you. As it dissolves, you whisper to yourself, "This is not about me." You feel no anger, no need for defense. You simply watch the projection fade away, leaving your own peace utterly undisturbed. Practice this. See another arrow fly and watch it dissolve. And another. You are not fighting. You are not resisting. You are simply abiding in a truth so powerful that the attacks of others have no substance. As you drift deeper into sleep, let the shield of wisdom remain around you. The hooks will find no purchase. The arrows will find no target. Rest now, untouchable, serene, and truly free. Rule 4. Reframe adversity as training. You are resting in that untouchable inner citadel, protected by the understanding that the provocations of the world are not about you. The arrows of insult and criticism dissolve before they can ever reach your core. But the Stoics, those great masters of the mind, went even further. They taught that we shouldn't just passively defend against these challenges. We should actively welcome them. This brings us to a radical and life-altering shift. In perspective, the reframing of adversity as training. Think of an elite athlete. When they step into the gym, they don't see the heavy weights as a threat or an insult. They don't complain that the bar is too heavy or the run is too long. They see these things as tools. Each difficult repetition, each burning muscle, is not a punishment, but an opportunity. It is the precise stimulus needed to break down the old muscle and build a new, stronger one. The adversity is the very thing that makes them better. Without it, they would remain weak. This is exactly how a Stoic trains the mind. Most people see a difficult person, a frustrating situation, or an unexpected problem as an obstacle to their peace. They think, if only this person weren't here, I could be calm. If only this problem hadn't happened, I would be happy. They see adversity as a deviation from the plan, but the mental warrior sees it as the plan itself. The world is your gymnasium. Every person who provokes you, every challenge that tests your patience, is not a burden. It is a piece of training equipment, perfectly designed to strengthen the exact virtue you need to develop. The rude coworker is not just a nuisance. He is your personal trainer for patience. The sudden crisis at work is not just a problem. It is a live fire drill for your composure and problem-solving skills. So, how do we make this shift practical? We do it with a simple, powerful internal statement. The next time you feel that familiar spike of frustration from an external challenge, you will take that deep breath we practiced. You will let the arrow of ego dissolve. And then you will say to yourself with a quiet inner smile, "Good. This is my chance to test my composure." Or, "Excellent. A perfect opportunity to practice my patience." Or, "Thank you. I needed a chance to train my resilience today." Feel the incredible transformation that occurs in that moment. The feeling of victimization vanishes instantly. You are no longer a passive target being afflicted by the world. You are an active student, an athlete stepping up to the challenge. The energy shifts from defensive dread to a kind of eager readiness. The fear of conflict begins to melt away because you no longer see it as a threat to your well-being. You see it for what it truly is, practice. And who fears practice? Practice is how we improve. It's how we grow. You begin to welcome the very things you once dreaded because you know that each one is a gift, a chance to forge your character into something unbreakable as you drift into a deep and restorative sleep. Carry this new perspective with you. The world is not conspiring against you. It is conspiring to train you. It is providing you with a perfectly tailored curriculum for your own development. Rest now, like a warrior after a good day's training, knowing that tomorrow you will wake up stronger, readier, and unafraid, eager for whatever lessons the gymnasium of the world has to offer. Rule 5. Anchor your mind in unshakable principles. You are resting now as a warrior in training, seeing every challenge as an opportunity to forge your character. But for this training to be effective, for your strength to have a direction, you need a foundation. A boxer can have the strongest punches in the world, but without solid footwork, without being grounded, a single push can send him off balance. Your principles are your footwork. They are the anchor for your mind. This brings us to a crucial practice: anchoring your mind in unshakable principles. Without principles, your emotions are like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every changing wind of opinion, circumstance, and feeling. One day you feel confident, the next you feel insecure. One moment you are patient, the next you are enraged. Your emotional state is entirely dependent on the weather of the day. You are unstable, unpredictable, and easily moved. To achieve true emotional mastery, you cannot rely on fleeting moods or willpower alone. You must anchor yourself to something deeper, something that does not change, regardless of the storm around you. The Stoics built their lives upon a bedrock of core principles. These were their non-negotiables, their North Stars that guided every decision, especially when emotions ran high. We can distill their profound wisdom into 3 foundational anchors for our own lives. The first anchor is the most fundamental. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. We have touched on this before, but now we make it a law. As you lie here, feel the solidness of this idea. Your mind, your choices, your efforts, these are yours to command. The weather, the past, the opinions of others, these are not. By anchoring to this truth, you stop wasting energy on the impossible and focus your entire strength on the possible. You become ruthlessly effective. The second anchor is this: choose virtue over victory. In any conflict, in any argument, the ego screams for victory. It wants to be right, to have the last word, to win. But the anchored mind has a higher goal. It chooses virtue. It asks, what is the courageous thing to do here? What is the just thing? What is the most temperate, the most wise? Sometimes, the most virtuous response is to walk away in silence. Sometimes it is to concede a minor point to maintain a relationship. By choosing virtue, you elevate yourself above the petty squabbles of the ego. Your goal is not to win the argument. It is to win your self-respect. The third anchor, judge nothing. Before you understand it fully, our emotions are often triggered by snap judgments, by stories we tell ourselves about a situation before we have all the facts. Someone doesn't reply to your message, and you immediately judge it as disrespect. Your boss gives you critical feedback, and you immediately judge it as an attack. This anchor commands you to pause, to gather information, to seek to understand before you form a judgment. It is a commitment to curiosity over condemnation. To make these anchors real, you must use them daily. The practice is a simple ritual, a morning reflection and an evening review. In the morning, you will spend just 2 minutes quietly reminding yourself of these 3 principles. You are setting your navigation for the day. Then at night, just as you are now, you will review your day against them. Where did I waste energy on the uncontrollable? Where did I choose my ego over virtue? Where did I judge too quickly? This isn't about punishment, it's about calibration. It is the steady daily practice of an archer checking his aim. As you drift into a deep and profound sleep, feel the weight of these anchors holding you fast. The winds of emotion can blow, the waves of circumstance can crash, but you are secure. You are grounded. Rest now, anchored in the deep, quiet waters of principle. Rule 6. Train in discomfort. You are resting in the solid certainty of your principles. You are anchored, grounded, secure. A ship held fast in a deep harbor is safe from any storm. But a ship is not built for the harbor. It is built for the open sea. An anchor provides the stability needed not to hide, but to confidently face the waves. And so, having established your foundation, we now turn to the practice that tempers your soul into unbreakable steel. You must train in discomfort. This sounds like a paradox. We seek peace and control, so why would we willingly seek hardship? It is because the world will inevitably deliver hardship to your door, whether you invite it or not. Sickness, loss, failure, conflict, these are not possibilities. They are eventualities. They are the involuntary hardships of life. A mind that has only ever known comfort is fragile. When the first real storm of life hits, it shatters, it panics, it crumbles. But a mind that has been deliberately strengthened, that has been intentionally exposed to small, controlled doses of difficulty, responds differently. It bends, it adapts, it endures. It has been here before. This is the genius of Stoic practice. Voluntary hardship is the inoculation against the fragility of the soul. You don't wait for life to test you. You test yourself on your own terms every single day. You build a callus on your mind so that when the unavoidable friction of life occurs, it doesn't leave you raw and bleeding. Think of it this way. Your discipline, your emotional resilience, this is a muscle. How do you strengthen a muscle? By placing it under a load it is not used to. The same is true for your will. So, let's imagine you're training tomorrow. You will step into the gymnasium of your will. Perhaps your training is the cold shower. Imagine standing before the water. Your entire body, your every instinct, screams for the familiar comfort of warmth. The mind creates a dozen excuses. But you take a breath, turn the handle to cold, and step in. For 30 seconds, the cold is a shock. It takes your breath away. Your mind screams, "Get out." But you don't. You focus on your breath. You consciously relax your shoulders. You calmly withstand the assault. And then you step out. And what do you feel? A surge of victory. A profound, vibrating aliveness. You have just taught your body and mind that you are in charge, not your primal instincts. Or perhaps your training is at the gym. It's that final grueling set. Every fiber of your being is telling you that you are done. But you know you have one more rep in you. You grit your teeth, Silence the voice of weakness, and you push. That moment, that single act of pushing past a perceived limit, is not just building your body. It is forging your will. You are teaching yourself, in your very selves, that you are capable of more than you think. This is the secret. The man who can willingly stand under ice-cold water is less likely to be emotionally rattled by an angry email. The man who can command his body to do one more rep is less likely to abandon his principles when faced with social pressure. He has practiced being stronger than his own discomfort. As you drift into a deep and healing sleep, choose your voluntary hardship for tomorrow. A small, deliberate act of discipline. See it not as a punishment, but as an act of profound self-respect. You are the blacksmith, and you are forging yourself in the fire. Rest now, warrior. The growth happens in the recovery. Rule 7. Live above external validation. You are resting now as a warrior in the forge. You have anchored your mind in principle and have committed to strengthening your will through voluntary hardship. You are building an inner fortress that is strong, resilient, and self-contained. There is just one final chain to break. A subtle but powerful tether that can still allow others to control you. This is the dependence on external validation, the craving for approval and praise. As long as a part of you deeply needs to be liked, to be admired, to be seen as successful or smart by others, you remain vulnerable. You give them a handle to your emotions. A word of praise can lift you into the clouds, but that means a word of criticism can send you plummeting into despair. You become a leaf in the wind, your inner state determined by the shifting breezes of other people's opinions. If someone wants to manipulate you, all they have to do is learn what you need to hear, and then give or withhold it as they please. You are not free. You are a performer, dancing for an audience whose applause you have made essential for your happiness. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca declared, "He who seeks wisdom is the only truly free man, not he who seeks fame or wealth or approval." Wisdom, because the wise man finds his sense of worth internally. His validation comes from a different source, from the quiet, powerful knowledge that he is living in accordance with his principles. His reward is not the applause of the crowd, but the self-respect earned by acting with courage, discipline, and integrity, even when no one is watching. This is the final graduation. This is living above the fray. The action step, for this is a powerful exercise in self-reliance. You will commit to spending one day, perhaps one day each week, making your decisions without seeking a single outside opinion or hoping for a single word of praise. For that one day, your choices are yours alone, guided only by your own reason and your own principles. You will choose what to wear, what to work on, how to spend your free time, not based on what will impress others or what is expected of you, but based on what you yourself deem right and good. Imagine this day. You complete a difficult task at work. The urge arises to tell someone, to fish for a good job, but you don't. You simply pause, acknowledge the work well done internally, and move on to the next task. The satisfaction is yours alone, clean and pure. A friend makes a decision you disagree with. The urge arises to offer your opinion, to prove you know better, but you don't. You allow them their own path, content in your own. You feel that you are standing on your own 2 feet, mentally and emotionally. You are not leaning on anyone. You are self-sufficient. At the end of that day, you will feel a new kind of strength, a quiet, solid confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. It is the peace of a man who is his own judge and his own jury. As you now prepare for the deepest, most restorative stage of sleep, let go of the need for the world to approve of you. Your worth is not a fragile thing to be granted or taken away by others. It is the fortress you have been building this whole time, stone by stone, principle by principle. You are its architect and its sole occupant.